Okay, selling my 72 BMW R75/5. It is a short wheelbase bike, as you can see down here. And good runner, rider. I actually bought it for the toaster tank. It was a toaster that I wanted for my 73 long wheelbase. So that's really the reason I picked this up, but it was not running. Lots of little things: battery dead, needed carb clean, plugs, timing set, valve adjustment, just general tune-up stuff. But overall, it was a good bike. It was in good shape. I had a nice large tank on my 73 that I moved over to this bike. Tank's got a few little dents in it, scratches, but overall in nice shape. And shoot, I was timing it. I must have left the plug out. I'll have to find that. So I do have the rubber plug for the timing cover. It was not missing. There's no water in there or anything. Yeah, bike, I got it from a local guy. It was a bike out of Denver for a very long time, and then a guy around here had it and had a fairing on it. I'm not sure what kind, but the fairing was removed and headlight put back in, but the trim ring that holds the headlight in was missing, so I do not have that. Good fender, some wear on the paint and pinstriping on the fender, but fender itself's in good shape. Everything works as it should. Brakes are good. Clutch is good. I didn't change the oil, but it's got clean oil in it. Tires look okay. There's the laser techs. I didn't look at the date code, but they're not like badly dry rotted or anything. Points looked okay. Charging system's great. Charges over 14 volts. Points are old, but I set them and they're fine. Trying to think. Let's see. New plugs. Rebuilt the carbs. Did not replace every O-ring inside the carbs, but replaced the ones that were worn out. I had some good ones and some good diaphragms, so I replaced those. The old ones were in bad shape. And then adjusted the carbs and cable length and all that stuff. Set the chokes. It was missing, and I do not have the crossovers, the T's for the fuel line crossover, so you can see that's missing. They're just hooked up directly to the taps on each side. I have not kick-started it, but I did turn the motor over with the kicker, and that worked fine. So kicker seems good, but I don't typically use those on the 4 speeds. Pipes are good. Some rust and pitting in them, but certainly serviceable for the bike. Rear tire's got a laser tech as well. It's in decent shape. No dry rot. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Center stand works well. Missing the tab. I feel like all of them are. Rubber's okay. Little split and stuff, but it's all still there. Heads look good. When I set the valves, like all the valve train stuff, I didn't pull the heads, but when I set the valves, everything looked good. No weird noises. They were just slightly out, so no big deal there. Typical needle missing on the speedo. 55,000 miles. Everything works up here, lights and stuff, so speedo cable works, so I suspect that's original mileage. Missing turn signals in the front. The stocks are there. I don't have the metal cups for the turn signals since it had a fairing on it. Probably a Liftmeister or Windjammer or something, so those were removed. Trying to think what else. I didn't pull up the fork gators. Typically on these old bikes, it sat for a while, the forks are leaking, but they don't seem to be. But and they work fine. So anyways, I didn't check. Not going to. Brakes work well, like I said. It's a little dusty, but guy I got it from said the motor was rebuilt recently. I'd have no clue if that's true or not. But the motor is suspiciously clean compared to the rest of the bike. You can see, I mean, really clean. I cleaned the crap out of my 73 and I can't get the motor close to this. And it runs great, and I was kind of debating stealing the motor out of this one, but the numbers match, motor and frame match in this bike, and they do in my other bike I'm keeping, so no point splitting them up. Push rods, tube seals don't seem to be leaking. I think see if I can get on them. Like, they are still pliable, so I'm scratching it with my fingernail. It's still soft. So, and this boot is in good shape too. There's a lot of stuff here that does lead me to believe the motor's pretty fresh. It had over 120 PSI compression in both sides. I've got pictures of that. I always compression test them just to see. Rear shocks are fine. They're old and a little worn, but they're not blown by any means. They work fine. Yeah, I didn't check fluids in trans and final drive and stuff. I'm not going to. So this is a runner and a rider. I just got done riding it around the neighborhood. I don't think I'd probably do a full service on it, oil all the fluids, but other than that, like, you could ride it as is for sure. Seat's got a tear in it. It's got a seat cover on it. Don't know what that is. R75 badge is still there. I think I do have, yeah, up here I have a rear rack and the rear tail rack for the seat that can go with it. I don't need those. I also have a crash bar, front crash bar from my other bike. I'm not going to use. I wouldn't mind throwing that in with it. It's just been stored up here. So crash bar could go if you wanted it. So yeah, that's it. It's gonna have, I haven't transferred it yet, but I'll put the title in my name, so that's all legit. But I'm gonna go ahead and put it up for sale, find a buyer, because I run out of space in the winter because I need to put a car in here, and I moved all my bikes to my shop and it's full. So got what I needed from this one, got it running and riding well, and I don't want to store it. So but let's go ahead and fire it up. Key on, all our lights. And it is a little warm, like I said. I was riding it. It's not fully hot, but I just rode it around the neighborhood. So that's not a dead cold start, but the chokes work well and it fires up cold just fine as well. Doesn't blow any smoke. High and low beam. Work. Low indicator. Neutral works. Gin light works. Charge is great, like I said. Let's check brake light function. Yep. Brake light works great. And rear turn signals work great that are hooked up. So I assume the front's wiring is tucked in to the stock, so fronts probably work fine as well. So that's it. You got a good 72 short wheelbase R75 here ready to go. And if you're interested, let me know. I'll have this up for sale. And you can email me from YouTube if you see this, or if not, it'll be up for sale on other marketplaces. All right, see ya.